So now I'm ready to put the colour on. I'm going to start off maybe with a bit of background colour. There is a reflected red in the background. I'm just adding a bit of water to this to make it a little bit more pliable. So in the background I'm going to reflect a little bit of vermilion. Ooh, that's very vermilion. I think that might be, actually that might work. I might put a little bit of yellow into it. So you don't need much pigment. The idea of this is that you're putting on a very thin wash of colour and it's going to be very weak because it's a little bit like watercolour. You'll just be building up the layers. So I'm just going to reflect a little bit of pink and it just glides on. So basically what you're doing is allowing the underpainting to come through but adding a little bit of colour on top. Really, you should wait for one layer to dry before you put the next layer on, otherwise you can end up with what I've done is patching. If you do that and you don't like it, if you're working with acrylic, you just take a damp cloth and wipe it off and then you can start again. Take a little bit over here and add a bit more medium, and I'm just going to, that's not quite orange enough, just going to glaze over this area here. I think that's too yellow, so I'm going to add a bit more vermilion. That's better. I'm going to carefully try and keep within the shape. There's also a little bit of that yellow that goes here through the orange. And then round here it gets darker. And over here it's lighter. So I'm using a bit of a lighter yellow. And the orange underneath is more red. So I'm going to add vermilion to my yellow, to the orange I've already got. That's still too light. I'm going to go in with a lot more red and see what happens. It's quite nice. Probably go over with another layer into that though. Down here you also have the orange. And I picked up a little bit of red on my brush, which I quite like. It's quite dark down at the bottom here. And then it goes a little bit lighter as you go up. Now within here it's quite yellow in the pith on the inside. So I'm going to take a little bit off. That's actually a little bit strong. So I'm going to stroke it and move it around and it will go a bit weaker. And you have a little bit of reflected orange going in here. And then you've got the pith, the skin, which is quite a strong orange. And that goes down there. Might even go with another layer there, and because it's a bit wet still, I'm getting a little bit more texture. I'm going to go under here again with more colour and maybe reflect a little bit that red into here. Ooh, that's a bit thick. You can go thicker. It just covers your underpainting a little bit more. So looking at the top of this orange, there is a little bit of colour in the white. So I'm going to take some of the yellow and just put that on there, and I'm just dragging it round. And also within here, there is that more of a yellow ochre, so I'm going to put in a little bit on there. Like that. I might go over some of this with a very pale white yellow towards the end. I need to put in some yellow here. And also in there, I think I need a bit of a yellow within here, and then I want to put the edge of the peel on. So I'm going to put a line of orange going around that, and a bit more orange down here. So the more you put on, the richer it becomes. I'm going to put more of a red in here. And now you can see they're starting to get little bits of interesting colours and textures growing. A bit more red in there. So I hope this helps, and I hope it gives you an exercise that you might like to try and explore. It's a very fun thing to do, and it's very absorbing.